Hello and welcome to Tech Raven. I'm Nigel and today I'm taking a look at the Empress Echosystem effects pedal. Now it is a guitar effects pedal, but in my opinion it's, I wouldn't say wasted on guitarists, but it's got so many more applications than just guitar, as I will demonstrate throughout this video. Empress, if you haven't heard of them, they're made in Canada, handmade even. They are really solid metal construction here, and Empress make fantastic quality products. This comes in a nice strong box. I'm not going to do an unboxing thing, with a clever little bit of packaging here. That foam bit just goes on top, so it's safe in transit. It also comes with an instruction manual. This is really handy, especially at the beginning when you first get it, because it's got all the little color-coded LED light settings of the pedal, because on the pedal itself it's got various built-in presets and different color-coded LED lights. So you'll need the manual certainly at the beginning to understand what they all do, but you'll soon get used to it. It doesn't come with a power supply. I actually had to buy this Boss PSA 230ES, which is the power adapter that Empress recommend. So I bought this in the UK. They're about £30 or something like that, so you will have to buy one of these. So what I'm going to demonstrate in this video with regard to this pedal is how you can use it with a drum machine, a synthesizer and a bass guitar. So in my opinion, every musician should own one of these because it really does produce studio quality results. It is absolutely top notch. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so during this section of the video, I'm going to demonstrate what the Empress Echosystem pedal sounds like going through this Arturia Drum Brute Impact drum machine. Now this is an analog synthesis type drum machine, but the thing I like about it, it's got individual outputs for individual drums. So in this instance, I've got one output here for the kick drum and the hi-hats, and another dedicated one here, which is just for the snare drum. And that snare is being fed directly into the pedal. So when I play the Drum Brute in a minute, the only effect is going to be affecting the snare drum and not the kick and the hi-hats. Now, in all honesty, you probably wouldn't want the kick, the snare, the hi-hats, the cymbals and the toms all going through this pedal, because then it's probably going to start to sound very complicated. Unless, of course, that's the effect you're going for. But in this instance, it's only going to be affecting the snare drum hit, and I'll explain why in a minute. So let me just quickly play you the two basic step sequences that I've got programmed into this, because as you can see, there's a 16-step sequencer. So this is the first one. And the next one is just a snare drum on its own. So I've got a snare drum beat there on beats 1 and 3. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually just going to go through some of the presets, because it's got lots of presets on this pedal. And I've actually just written down on a piece of paper some of my favorite ones. So with just the snare drum playing on its own, I'm just going to scroll through some of these so you can hear some of these effects in here, with these settings just left in a general kind of mid position, because this will give you an idea as to what it's going to do. So let me just give you a couple of bars with nothing, and then I'll turn on the Empress and start scrolling through some of these presets here. Then you will see the LED change color to indicate which preset it is on. Okay, so that should give you an idea as to some of the effects that you can get. Obviously, I didn't go through all these presets. There's a lot more. And as you can see, like for example, in Whiskey, you've got blue, green, and red. And for Lo-Fi, you've got 3 or 4 settings. For Stutter, you've got red, green, and blue. Reverse, red, green, blue. And Delay and Reverb, green, blue. And then ambient, you've got purple, another color, another color, another color. So you've got lots of individual settings on here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to change the engine by pushing this button to go to dual parallel. And this is basically a combination of delay and stutter. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to turn this off and change this step to this one. And I'm going to reduce the volume output a little. Now with that, if you can imagine back in the very early 80s, you had these heavy dub artists like Ecomouse and Yellowman, for example. An artist like that used to have this really heavy dub music, and on the snare drums they would quite often put this digital delay and reverb effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the pedal off, and then I'm going to just play the sequence through, and I'm just going to stab it on and off at the points where I want those digital delay reverb effects to come on the snare drum hit, which is how it would have been on some of those heavy dub records. So that should have given you a good insight as the kind of thing that you can do using it through a drum machine. Okay, so during this section of the video, as you can see, I've got the Empress pedal connected up to my Nord Lead A1 synthesizer. I've got the right and left outputs from the synthesizer going into the right and left inputs of the pedal, and then right and left outputs of the pedal going straight into Logic Pro on my Mac. So for this little demonstration, it's just to give you a very basic idea as to some of the things that you can get by connecting it up to a synthesizer. Because as you know, back in the late 70s, early 80s, people like Gary Newman would connect guitar effects pedals to their synthesizers, because back then some of the earlier synths didn't have digital delay, reverb and effects like that. Some of the early Moog models and other models didn't have those effects, so you had to connect them to guitar effects pedals like this one. Admittedly, this Nord Lead A1 does have some built-in effects, but nothing that generates the same kind of quality, or well, not quality, but the sound shaping and what you can actually get, the different flavors that you can get from this Empress pedal. So I'm just going to give you a couple of little demonstrations, and the first demonstration is using the reverse preset, and I've just got this fairly basic stabby sound coming out of the Nord Lead A1. Now I've turned off any reverb on here, so it's just fairly clean. So this is it with no Empress effect. And then I'm going to turn the pedal on to give you an idea as to what this is going to do. And then again without. Okay, I'm now going to switch over to a different setting. Dial some of these back a little bit. Okay, so this is without. And then with the pedal. Okay, so hopefully that will just give you a basic idea as to what you can do with the Empress pedal when it's connected to a synthesizer. Okay, so we've demonstrated the Empress pedal with the drum machine and with the synthesizer, and now I'm just going to wrap up the video with a little bit of bass playing. Now, admittedly, when it comes to the bass, you would probably only want to use this pedal during a clever middle eight section or maybe a bass solo, maybe not throughout the entire song, because it is going to give some rather unique effects on the bass guitar. But I just want to demonstrate a couple of them right now. So I'm only going to play a simple bass line. They're going to be kind of quite short, sort of staccato bass notes, so that when the reverb and digital delay comes in, it's exaggerated. So what I'm going to play to start off with, here's an example without the pedal. So that's the kind of thing I'm going to play. So I'm going to turn the pedal on and we're going to have this. Now, as you can probably hear there, those digital delays are not in time, and that's why I've got my metronome here, because basically what I'm going to do, using the Empress pedal, I'm going to use the tap feature to tap in the actual speed that I want. So if I turn my metronome on, you can probably hear that if I hold it close to my mic. That's at 152. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to tap in semi-quavers to that beat. So that's semi-quavers, so the beat that I just tapped in is now going to result in this. So now, playing at that tempo, this is going to make more sense. Okay, so I hope that gave you an idea as to the basic thing that you can do on a bass guitar. Now let me just sort of try another one here. Got this on red digital now for this setting. Again, if I tap in the semi-quavers, now we're going to have it half speed. So that was another delay effect. So now I'm going to go on to the filter preset, and filter blue I've got here. It's going to be a bit unusual. Again, not really a bass line, but just trying to do some short notes just to give you a few ideas as to what you can achieve. So I'm going to move on to the whiskey setting now on the blue one. So again, it sounds better a little bit higher up the fretboard rather than playing down here. So if you're playing up here somewhere, it's going to sound a little bit more strange, shall we say. So there it is. Again, not really bass lines, just messing around there just to give you a little bit of an idea as to what this pedal can do. So you've heard it with the drum machine, the synthesizer, and a bit of bass. And of course, naturally, it works with guitar, but there's loads of YouTube videos with people demonstrating this pedal with the guitar. Now, in terms of pros and cons, there aren't really any cons to this. The build quality is absolutely fantastic. In all honesty, this company, Empress, they don't make a bad product. They're handmade in Canada, from what I can gather, and they really do make studio-grade products. And when I say studio-grade, I'm talking about the build quality and studio-grade sounds. The sound quality of these is absolutely phenomenal. Now, I've seen a few YouTube videos on this where a couple of people have complained saying they would have liked to have seen a little display on it so they know what preset they're on. It's got a whole load of built-in presets, and you can actually custom save 35 of your own. So once you've dialed in all your settings, you can save those presets as well. I don't mind the fact that it hasn't got a display on it. In all honesty, there is a logic to this LED color scheme. You've got the words written down here for digital, tape, analog, multi, etc. And as you scroll through them, you've got several different colored LED dots for each one telling you what they are. Admittedly, when you first get the pedal and start using it, you'll probably be referring to the manual a little bit to try and remember which each of the settings does, but you'll soon get used to that. So there it is. That's my evaluation and basic demo of the Empress Echosystem pedal. Can't recommend it enough. I think every musician should have this. I think it's, well, I wouldn't say it's wasted on guitarists, but it would be like sacrilege if it was only guitarists that used this, especially when you can use it to good effect with a drum machine, synthesizer, bass, maybe even vocals. I didn't try that, but I wasn't going to sort of try and sing with my voice because it's not that good. So anyway, there it is. I'm Nigel. You've been watching Tech Raven. If you like the content, then do subscribe because I'm uploading videos on music production equipment all the time. So until the next one, bye for now.